The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. But for those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Sack. 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 Hey! Is the song done? What happened there?
The funny thing is you were looking down, which was
Well, I was just singing.
right.
I was just grooving.
Right.
As they say in the biz. I was just in the groove. I was just in the zone.
No, the best is when we were both singing Neil Diamond while we were prepping for the show.
And I quote, "This is why we need an in-studio camera." From Clint.
Right. Because we did. Really? You're going to cough on the air? We have these mute buttons that we just installed.
And I used it.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
No. Do you have your foot pedal?
Yeah, it's right here. Can you hear it? Well,
Is it supposed to be a foot pedal?
who
'Cause I
got
have
us
mine on
new
the
toys?
desk.
Because I'll tell you right now, the worst thing you could ever do is to give two idiots like us toys.
Especially since it's a button.
Exactly.
And when
How
Sacco
am I not
installs
gonna
it,
press this?
and when Sacco installs it and says, Clint, only press it when you need it. Don't sit there and play with it just the entire time like this. And I can't help it.
Hard not to play with it. We're giant children. We are like giant children. That's the sad part about all this. Welcome to the Sackheads Radio Show. It is the 10th of June, 2015. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We
You're
have
welcome.
so much going on. The list just goes on and on.
We're 4 weeks away from Freedom Fest.
4 weeks from Freedom Fest.
Freedom. There's an R in there.
Oh, I thought
Sean.
it was Feed 'em.
No. It's not a big. It's not a food.
No?
Sickness. No. Is that why you signed us up?
I'm not going. There's no food?
Well, there's probably food, but it's not a Feed 'em Fest. It's not a fest where we feed people.
I screwed up. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to go to that. What am I supposed to
So
do?
Sacco and I will be there.
Join Sacco and Clint from the Sackheads Radio Show live at Feed 'em Fest.
No, Freedom.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Fest.
That's not good. I'm not going.
Did you? I know we ate. We added the big, delicious.
Everyone
Italian
know we
meat
hate.
pizza.
If you watch Twitter at all, or Facebook, or whatever it was, I think I ate. But that's fine.
We killed almost an entire large Italian meat pizza, which was delicious.
Sacco puts in the chat room because we don't give him a microphone anymore because we've seen how well that worked out. But he puts in the chat room he's not going to buy us toys anymore, and I can't for the life of me figure out why.
Oh, sorry, my button was pressed while I was talking.
What?
This is so much fun.
It is. I could do 2 hours just playing with this mute button.
I know. We're not going to.
No,
We're not going to do that.
Right? No, that's just silly.
You might do that.
Right, but we
one of us,
collectively,
are not
one of
gonna-
us is
one of
always
us
going to be covering topics.
and has to maintain
And
professionalism.
yes, if there's one thing this show screams is professionalism.
Right, because
I mean,
we're consummate professionals.
I don't know who's a better professional.
Professional?
Professional and Marianne here on Gilligan's Isle. I don't know who's a bigger professor.
Who's a bigger professor?
Dude, I'm done tonight. I am
you
done.
would be the bigger
Obviously
professor.
not. Obviously, I can't. I'm not even getting through the beginning of it here. What's going on with that?
I thought we were talking about literal big.
Hey. Hey. Why do you have to say hurtful things,
That's for the
Big
big
Nose?
nose comment, right?
No.
We're ordering pizza. What name shall I use? and Sean says, "How about Big Nose?"
I was just throwing out options. I didn't know what the guy was thinking
Right.
about.
So I said, "How about Sweetness?" Which I think is what they called.
Sweetness.
And I owned it, right? I stood up. I was like, "Yeah."
You actually, first of all, I've never seen somebody bellow so quickly when food was being offered up. That was rather amazing.
Well, they come out, they yell your name. It's a pretty informal place. It's pretty big, right? And they yelled the name. They're like, Sweetness! And I had to stand
And all of a
up.
sudden, next to me, now you would think the fat kid would automatically be like on it, right?
Right.
But no, next to me, I get yo, like as loud as humanly possible.
Right. And the entire restaurant looked, and I got a couple high fives, to be fair.
Right. To be fair, you know what's funny is I don't think the guy who you knocked in the face with your high five was actually trying to high five you.
Oh, you don't?
I know he was between us and the pizza.
Look,
And normally that's a me move. I'm normally the one to like roll people over when I'm hungry. But no, you actually took it to a new level, and I'm proud of you for that, actually.
no, thank you. Well, the first guy, that guy I was trying to high five. The first guy I did a forearm shimmy to get by
Right?
because he was, I think he was intentionally trying to block the path to that delicious pie.
Well, and rightfully so. It was a delicious pie.
And when we came back, you actually high-fived me and gave me like an attaboy pat on the rear and said, I am so proud of you.
I you know what? It was like, have you ever seen when they come off the football field and, you know, they have that, they just made that really good play and the coach does like that super wind-up pat in the behind?
Right.
That's what I gave you. It echoed, the smack of it echoed through
It
the
did, through
entire...
the entire restaurant.
Absolutely.
And now it's firm. So you stung your hand a little
I
bit.
have no idea why I spiked the pizza. Now, when we finally got the second pizza,
Right.
it was delicious.
But what's funny is you actually started to scrape some of it off the floor because you were hungry.
I hate to see good food go to waste.
And it was good food.
It was amazing good food. We do have so much to get to tonight, and I'm really excited about topics. You know what's funny is, you know, some weeks like you're like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about that.
No, never, because I'm excited, super psyched every week to do this show.
I'm not. No, I'm excited to be here with you, but sometimes some of the topics we get, we're like,
Right, like, again?
you know, like this week for me, one of the funnest topics that I covered, two things. There was a story in Pundit Press. Right. Good job, Sacco. And I hope the surgery goes well, big guy.
Yeah,
You'll
let me
get
know.
there eventually.
Sacco's-
You will get there.
So Sacco's having a sex change in the operation.
He
think
figured
he's
if Caitlyn did it-
I think it's called an addictomy.
No, I think it's a removatomy.
Oh, is that Sacco's a guy?
We haven't found it yet.
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm waiting for the doctor to tell me exactly what he is. And whatever it is, for whatever reason, he's going to the opposite.
Right, like we're going to
He's
celebrate
decided, that's
no
the
matter
funniest
what.
thing is, he's decided that no matter what he is,
He's like Captain Caveman,
Captain-
and you can't really tell what's under there.
Caveman.
Did you really just do that?
Yeah,
with the
baby.
mute button.
I even backed up.
You did, which I appreciate for saving my ears.
Oh, and Mary in the chat room puts out 56 Shades of Gender Insanity. Make it 57, Mary. Make it 57.
Hang on a second. So I got to set the stage. Sacco gets up when we start making fun of him, and he goes to retrieve a beer from the Sackhead bar.
Right.
He comes back to his desk, his station, and before he cracks it, he has his bottle opener ready to go. And as he's getting ready to crack it, he stops. He looks at us. He puts the bottle opener down. He looks at his watch.
To see if he has time.
I don't know if it's to see if he's time or if it's to see if he's past the time that would make him an alcoholic.
Right.
He then picks up the bottle opener and immediately cracks the beer and takes a sip.
Well,
Well, it wasn't a sip. It was more of a chug.
Well, and he's got one of those Apple watches, so he could have actually been using that for, like, science. I don't know. I'm not there. I can't claim to be there. I don't know.
So maybe he, on his Apple Watch, maybe he did some kind of search to see the best, most efficient way to open said beer.
Oh, that's a good call. I didn't even think about that. Bravo.
Maybe I use the watch to check what time it was.
Oh, he says he was using it to check time?
I don't think so.
I don't
'cause
believe you.
I don't believe you, Sacco.
Bullshit, you guys have been talking to each other.
I don't believe that's what you were using it for, Sacco.
Hey, if we were going to have a parade,
What kind of parade?
just any parade,
Like, well, we have to have a theme. Otherwise, I can't answer honestly.
St. Patrick's Day.
I wouldn't have a St. Patrick's Day parade.
Why?
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
Because in Hawaii, there's no St. Patrick's Day parades.
Really?
I don't know.
What kind of big nose parades do they have in Hawaii?
Let's call it a luau parade.
Let's call it a luau.
Okay, so we're having a luau.
Okay, we're having a luau. And
there's a parade
there's a parade.
of the pig.
Yes. We parade it before we luau it.
Right.
Is that what they do?
Sure.
Okay, good. So before we put it in the ground and cook it, oh, now I want a pig. Doesn't matter.
See?
Doesn't matter. I'm sticking back. I'm going
Oh,
back.
Kahlua pig. It sounds so delicious.
Oh, just stick with the topic, Sean. Okay, so
Kahlua pig and poi.
ooh, Mary wants to know if
rice.
she could be a pineapple in the parade. Absolutely, Mary.
Yes, Mary can be a pineapple.
Absolutely.
She's my pineapple.
Oh, Sako says Mary is his pineapple.
Mary, you could be a beautiful flower, and the Hawaiian word for flower is pua.
Well, we've all learned something tonight.
See that?
The more you know.
Stop. Right?
Maybe some of like the local kids, like Boy Scout troop, Girl Scout troop, stuff like that. Some performers.
Maybe like some Miss Hawaii contestants.
But I think the whole parade should be that.
Right.
But
so what are
most
we even
people
talking
won't come
about
out
here?
for just that. So
Have you seen the Miss Hawaii contestants?
I didn't say I wouldn't come out for just that. Don Ho, Mary would like to see Don Ho in the parade.
Okay.
I think that would be a good one. Who would you like to see?
I would like to see Hapa, a wonderful Hawaiian band or group.
Awesome. ABBA?
No, Hapa, not ABBA. That's a different.
They're Swedish.
They're kind. Is that kind of sweet, Swedish?
Yes,
They're
kind of
kinda
Swedish.
sweet. Well, if I was doing like a 4th of July celebration
Yes,
in Hawaii, I would want an honor guard there.
absolutely.
Like maybe perhaps from the United States Army or some other military branch. As a matter of fact, there's a church, and it's the Abilene Baptist Church in Georgia.
Isn't that kind of an... okay, go ahead.
So no, it was founded in 1774. It's one of Georgia's most historic churches.
So not a big part of history.
Not a big part of history. Second oldest in the state. According to their website, Maybelline.org, they talk about it was founded 1774 by Daniel Marshall. It was originally known as, it's spelled Red, R-E-D, Red's Creek, but it's actually pronounced Reed's Creek, apparently, according to their site. Their first pastor was Reverend Lovelace Savage, who served the church from its founding in 1774 through 1791. And the interesting thing about him is he was also a chaplain in the American Army during the Revolutionary War. So this church has a 4th of July celebration. And there's a Fort Gordon used to send, for the last 2 decades, they've sent an honor guard there, and the military has had an involvement in these celebrations at the church. But again, this church predates the founding of our country. And this year, the Army is refusing to participate.
Oh,
They're
scheduling issue?
No, because it violates the military's policy, which bans any involvement in a religious service.
You know, it's funny. Have you ever been to a funeral for somebody that served in our military?
Yes, I have.
Haven't you seen the honor guard there, usually?
Yes, I have.
Okay. That would be a religious service, would it not?
I believe it would be.
Like, when my father passed away, he was an Air Force veteran.
Uh-huh.
And it was at a Catholic church.
Uh-huh.
And we had the Air Force honor guard there.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's happened once or twice.
Army Regulation 360-1, which is dated May of 2011. So, post-Obama era. Basically
Coincidence?
says that the Army is not to participate in any type of event that benefits or appears to benefit any religious group. Yep. It also says that the Army Public Affairs shall not support any event involving the promotion, endorsement, or sponsorship of any religious movement.
Well, that's weird.
Yes.
You know, is religion still free in this country? That's a question I think we need answered.
Well, again, this church or the Army has participated in this event. As a matter of fact, from this fort for the last 2 decades, the last 20 years. And in 2007, they designated this church service as a non-sectarian music. Elements. So they said that because it was not a religious service then that they were able to participate. However, now the key factor is no longer whether it is an actual religious service or not. It's whether, I guess, religion is discussed. Yeah, which is weird because didn't the Pentagon allow Army personnel to take part in a gay pride parade?
Absolutely did. Absolutely did.
But they can't can't participate.
Well,
they can't participate.
That's pandering.
Well, that was the 2015 Capitol Pride Parade, right? And they're not able to participate in a July 4th event at a church whose first pastor was a reverend in the Revolutionary Army.
Well, yeah, but you know, Clint, you're missing
Because what
the
do
point.
the founders know about
Anything.
Anything
at all.
about church or serving in the military?
The exceptional one has a couple comments from the chat room. He wants to know if the Honor Guard can and will promote the next Miley Cyrus concert.
Oh, I think they can.
Non-religious.
I think they can't unless she gets on stage and starts saying "Oh God" in some kind of suggestive way. Because
Right.
then it could
Twerking while she's twerking.
Because then it could
Right.
promote some type of religious. Now, does that mean members of the military cannot participate in sexual relations with the spouse if their spouse does in fact say "Oh God" during
Only
the
if
act?
they're in the Honor Guard.
Got it.
What if it's at the base chapel and it's a religious service? Will they forbid the Honor Guard from their own?
So wait a second. Can a military member get married in a religious service in uniform?
Well, I think with this precedence, it would say no. Just based on this precedent we're seeing. More out of the chat room. How is it we got to a point in life where Don Zaho and Miley Cyrus isn't? What's America coming to? Are the
I would say they have a cult-like following. So
Yeah,
I would say yes.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah, I would say
they are
perhaps
idolized.
They may be.
And just so everyone knows, Mary in the chat room is currently twerking now. So we have that all squared away.
Perfect. And so is Sacco, which is kind of
Sacco's
weird.
been, he
Sacco kinda
twerks when there's no
have
music.
You ever, right, but have you ever seen Monsters University?
Yes.
And how Sully, right? Sully, like individual hairs move as he moves. That's kind of what's flowing about Sacco right now.
It's very strange.
The hairs are flowing on my chest.
So it would be interesting to see, or, you know what if a member of the military was killed in action and buried in a religious ceremony with the Honor Guard?
Right. I don't know. I think the wedding question is a valid question also, because it is a religious service. So can you have a member of the armed forces wear that uniform?
When have
I
we
don't know.
turned? When has religion become like gang and drugs in this country?
I don't know. But you know,
Those people.
and a Sunday picnic afterwards.
How about that guy in country? You know, call me crazy. And
You're
you know-
crazy. How about just country? It's a country celebration. What, like Garth Brooks? No.
No, we're just out in the country right now.
Right.
And we're celebrating the red, white, and blue. It might be at a church.
Makes-
But, I mean, I don't know.
It makes me sick. I was so angry at this, and I wanted to get that out to our listeners. Just ridiculous where we are now. But there's another story that I want to get to also before our first break out of New Jersey, and you talked about this on your other show.
Yeah, I talked about this on my on Edge of Liberty on Friday, and there's a young woman, Miss Brown, who was in a relationship with this guy, complete scumbag, has been incarcerated for felony assault on past girlfriends, has a criminal history. He's a bad dude. Relationship goes south.
Which, weird. Nobody saw that coming, right?
Right. It doesn't matter, though.
Right.
She goes and gets a restraining order because the stress, his threats are so bad and so consistent that she's in fear for her safety. So
There was a restraining order in place.
there was a restraining order in place, and for people who don't realize, a restraining order just says if he contacts her, comes near her, or whatever,
Right.
and the police are notified and he's found, he can be arrested. It's only a piece of paper, and that's something
But it's
that...
an order, Sean.
Right.
It's an order.
And the guy who literally has proven through the courts that he can't follow orders because pretty sure there's an order saying you're not allowed to beat your girlfriend.
That's not true. Otherwise, he'd be incarcerated.
So
There was an order in place. He should have listened to that.
she's also in enough of a fear that in New Jersey she has to go apply for a permit to keep a gun in her home and defend herself in her home.
How
Miss Brown,
that has not been challenged
yeah,
yet, that is ridiculous.
Miss Brown gets security cameras put in, puts her neighbors on alert, says, hey, you know what, this guy's making threats. It's really scaring me. She applies for the permit. June 3rd, I believe, she called to check the status.
She applied on April 21st.
Yeah. But that was the
April
initial date. It was
21st.
April 21. In
They
the
have
meantime,
30 days, I think.
in the meantime, this guy had violated the order
Yeah.
and was then wanted by police for the violation of the order and other charges. So he is on the run.
And one other point I want to add: they're supposed to rule on permits within 30 days.
Yes, but there was backlog. <sighs> 24 hours later, she's in her driveway.
She got home, got out of her car.
Home out of the car, this guy runs up, stabs her, and kills her right there in her driveway. I submit that this young woman perished, and her life was taken from her by a thug because of government bureaucracy. And a ridiculous, and we've talked about three stories out of New Jersey with ridiculous gun laws.
Yep.
This goes to the top of the list. This woman lost her life because the state of New Jersey does not recognize the Second Amendment. There was nothing that I have found in my research to say that she was disqualified legally for any reason to not have a weapon.
Right.
There was nothing, and if somebody has evidence, show it to me. I want to see it. But nothing at this point says to me that she was not legally able to defend herself with a weapon.
I haven't been able to find anything either, and I've looked.
Yeah, it's immediately the first thing I looked.
Yep.
Okay, well, maybe they're holding it up because there was this problem or that problem. And the state hasn't produced anything yet to support that. Her application was at the bottom of a pile on some government worker's desk who got to it when they felt like it,
Yep.
passed the 30-day
Restraining order. The courts were aware.
The courts had justified through legal action that this man is enough of a threat to Miss Brown that they issued an order to keep him from her.
Yes.
So the state essentially acknowledges that he is a threat. All of this information was on the application packet. And they still did nothing. I understand backlog, but you know what? There's a difference between a guy who says, yeah, I want to keep a pistol so I can go to the target range, and, hey, you know what? My 6'5" boyfriend's trying to murder me. Oh, we should have a couple. Maybe we should have more than one stack.
Yep.
Maybe this should be the expedite, and this could be the, I'll get to it after my 15th coffee break because I'm a friggin' state worker. And this woman lost her life. She is dead.
And this coward was found dead on Saturday of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And he was in another ex-girlfriend's garage when he did it.
That's weird. How did he get a gun? Oh, right. He doesn't follow the law, so it doesn't apply.
Right.
There's a law from him. He's a felon. He shouldn't have possessed that weapon.
Well, there's a law you can't murder somebody.
Right, but he doesn't follow rules.
Wait a second. Hang on. There was an order that he shouldn't go within
Go
so many
near
yards of
her, but he
Yet
violated
did.
that. The piece of paper
You know what?
did not
Look,
save her.
Look, you and I are big on states' rights on this show. However, this is an issue. This is a 2A issue. It's a Second Amendment issue, which means it is an issue of rights specifically enshrined in our Constitution. The federal government has every every reason and authority to overturn this. I think there should be legislation on Capitol Hill to streamline the concealed weapon permit process. I think states should look. If you have a 30-day waiting period because you're applying to own a handgun for self-defense
in your own home,
and
it's not even a CCW.
In your own home, you should not. Yes, I mean have your 10-day waiting period, whatever, for purchasing a firearm. Make sure there's no mental health issues or anything like that.
Okay.
That's okay, fine. But have a federal law that says no state shall establish rules or regulations to exceed that 10-day period for guns.
They do. It's called the Second Amendment.
Right.
We already have it.
I know. But there needs to be, I think there should be some action at a federal level to prohibit states like New Jersey and California from having these wingnut laws.
And, we have all the Brady laws. I would submit, if I was her family, you would see the Brown law rush to the front of every court in that state. I would sue every bureaucrat. I'd want to fingerprint her file so every bureaucrat that touched that, I can name in that state.
Laws, there's protections from keeping the legislature from being sued.
No, I just said the state. I didn't mean the legislature directly.
Okay. But in terms of the police department, though, that backlog from April?
April. And I don't know how small of a town it is.
It doesn't matter.
Well, what I'm saying is...
How long does it take to run somebody up and, they're clear?
And if you've ever applied for a CCW, you bring them all the information. It's not like they have to go digging.
Have you ever been on a ride-along with law enforcement?
Yeah.
How long does it take when they run people for warrants? How long
35,
does that take?
40 seconds sometimes. If they put it in their little fancy computers, it comes back quick. 5 minutes for a long one?
Criminal history?
20 minutes, even if it's 20 minutes. Let's say it takes an hour for some reason.
Right.
I'm sure she would have gladly waited the hour to receive
in the courthouse with deputies and law enforcement.
Yeah, or in the police station or wherever. I'd wait an hour just because. And my life, fortunately, is not being threatened yet.
No, I've seen the emails that we get from
Yeah, but I don't consider any of those real threats. Just a bunch of cowards. Keyboard cowboys.
What's wrong with cowboys?
But here, this poor woman lost her life again because we keep guns out of the hands of good people.
Yeah, but yet Knucklehead gets a gun.
Stabs her. First of all, this isn't a gun crime, and this is the amazing part.
No. But what I'm talking about is he then shoots himself.
No, I know, and this
with
is
a gun.
This is
another ex-girlfriend's garage.
Almost like the coup de grace, if you will. For all the anti-gun people, guns are evil. He killed her with a knife and then beat her to death.
Knives are evil, Sean.
And then he killed himself with an illegal gun that he should not have possessed. No part of this said legal gun anywhere on it. She couldn't get a legal gun. That's the amazing part of this.
You know what? Did he really kill himself with a gun? Because I find that hard to believe since he was not legally allowed to possess it.
Are you saying it was a homicide?
Ooh, no.
I don't think so either.
No.
I hope there's a lot of, at least, and I know this is sad that you even hope for this, but I hope there's a lot of guilty consciences that touch that.
There's not. Because I think they're progressive and they believe that guns are bad and people shouldn't have them. And that, well, obviously he was sick.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, he was mentally disturbed.
He was sick.
Doesn't matter.
He had emotional issues going on. He was, he got bitten by a dog when he was a kid.
Right. His teacher used to yell at him.
Right. His teacher used red pen to correct his
The
homework.
president smoked cigarettes, so, he's...
No. Josh Earnest said no.
I love it. How do you know when your White House is lying to you? When they won't even admit that the guy smokes. Who cares?
Okay, just say, yeah, he smokes. Next.
Get over it. But no, they're going to lie about that too. What won't they lie about? It's on... You can see it. I'm a smoker. I know a dude flipping into a pack of butts like nobody from a mile away. That dude's fishing into that box for a pack of smokes. And it's fine. Who cares?
I don't care.
But they lie about that, too.
And that's what I care about. We are 1 minute past a break. Sacco's giving us the stink eye. I just got an eraser thrown at me. When we come back,
Ow!
next
Sacco,
side of the break,
not
we
the
got
scissors.
We got our TSA block.
Yay! I love the TSA.
The Sackheads Radio Network.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on The Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Who listens to the Andrea Kaye Show? Let's find out as we eavesdrop on listener Roger Johnson in Encinitas.
You know, if our policy is going to be bring any child who comes across the border with coordination, we have to take them in.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me because I put him on the air, sleeping. Obviously, he's a liberal.
Snoring, not an option while listening to the Andrea Kaye Show, Tuesday mornings at 11 on Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
I love this mute button.
Sing me a song and then mute yourself halfway through it.
Which song?
I don't know.
Wheels on the Bus.
No. Cracklin' Rose.
No, I'm not singing that. We have work to get to.
Okay, fine.
We should have had a camera. If we had a camera installed in studio, they would have seen us singing Cracklin' Roses.
Sacco wants to bring that to the table. Sacco wants he brought that out last week.
It was a great idea.
He proposed it.
I think it was a great proposition.
I think it was a great proposition too, and that's something that I think we need to move on that. And here's why. I look so amazing behind this microphone that I think it needs to be shared with the world. I'm just saying.
No.
Okay, well, we're out. No pitches for us.
I think we should do it. Look, we need a poll. We need to check the pulse of our chat room folks and see if who would watch. It'd almost be like a television show.
I think because when all the time. Ken Ken has live streams, so you know what Ken's doing during his show. But I listen to a whole bunch of different, and you always wonder, even though I do this, you do this, we do this, I always wonder what other people are doing. Because I know, usually when we're on the air, we both got our heads buried in notes and all this other stuff and sending messages.
Or we're making faces at each other trying to see who can giggle first.
Right.
Because we're kids.
Or we're throwing stuff at each other, or we're playing with the mute button or something like that.
Right.
So I'm just curious if people would actually want to see this train wreck live, like on video.
People have to slow down and take a look at a train wreck. So I think the answer would be yes.
Okay, good. I think we're in.
I think another part of that question will be how many people watch when we're broadcasting from Freedom Fest.
Everybody will need to watch from Freedom Fest 2015.
No, it doesn't work. That was very Peter Brady of you.
I'm really angry it's not Freedom Fest.
I know you are. There'll still be food. There's It's Vegas. There's buffets. There's buffets everywhere.
Hey.
Not parfaits, but buffets. So we're TSA block.
I hope there's parfaits.
Last week, parfaits got layers. So
you know what me, onions, and Shrek and parfaits have? Layers.
Right. We talked last week about an audit that showed the abysmal failure of TSA, which was weird because then we actually ended up proving how they were 100%
through math, science,
effective through science, how they were actually 100% effective, which is weird. If you haven't listened to that show, it's a good segment. You should replay that on Edge of Liberty.
I should?
That was a good segment.
It was a great segment, I'm not going to lie.
So last week we talked about...
I even impress us sometimes.
Last week we talked about TSA's failure to find, weapons on screeners like 96% of the time. And another report came out this week.
You're a pilot? Yeah. How often do you land the plane? About 4% of the time.
Right.
The other 96, not even in the ballpark.
Right.
I put one down in a swimming pool last week. They still keep employing me.
Well, 4. That's 100%, right? Like my standard is 4, so I nail it 100%.
Right. That's all I have to do is as long as 4 times that thing hits the runway, I'm golden.
Right.
I get my pension.
Right. A new report came out that shows that TSA, there were 73 airport workers linked to...
It's laughable.
Linked to terrorism that the TSA failed to identify. Why do we pay them? Homeland Security does not give TSA access to all of the terror watch list information.
No, they don't have access to the JTTF and the FBI's watch list.
What is the point?
Well, listen, they look good. Have you seen those white button-up shirts and blue pants?
According to the Inspector General report, quote, the TSA did not identify these individuals through its vetting operations because it is not authorized to receive all terrorism-related categories under current interagency watch listing policy.
I'm going to call foul that they would even call it a vetting operation. I'm just going to say.
Okay, hang on.
That's a little bit. That's like calling me an athlete because I played softball.
I have a perfect idea, and you might love this.
I might.
You might love this. So TSA, okay, they don't have access to all the watch list information. FBI has the watches. Let's put FBI agents as airport screeners. Let's abolish the FBI, but make them
and merge them with the TSA.
Let's abolish TSA. Call it all FBI. Because pocket protectors and calculators, right?
It's the job is right up their alley,
right? And since they have
they go up you with the probe.
They can look at the list because it's paperwork, right? And they like that. They can look at the list and then
they can have files
at the name. They can have files.
Tons of files.
They can write things in pen.
Absolutely. Not the regular sticky notes, but the one you can put on specific pages so the person who reads it next knows to go to that page with red arrows and stuff. Everywhere. Right. Everywhere. Staple runs galore.
They could do a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
With pictures. They could do a PowerPoint with pictures. It'll be awesome. There could be crayons.
Dude. I'm loving this
idea.
Calculators, like they even get to use a little bomb tech machines, so it looks like they're sitting at a computer and all that stuff. Here's the scary...
We can give them handcuffs and a gun.
Earlier today, you wanted a gun. Now you're getting a gun and a wetsuit. Such a great movie, The Rock. Yeah. All joking aside.
Who's joking? I think that's a perfect job for the FBI.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
But the scary part about this is the sort of information non-sharing that we see still going on in the federal government is one of the things that led to 9/11.
Yes. Look, if the TSA is not to be trusted with watch list information, when their job is to keep people off of airplanes and to kind of keep that, so that's their job. If you don't trust them with the information to be able to do their job, then why do they exist? Why are we, as citizens, waiving our rights and being processed how we're processed, almost like you're going back to your cell or something, right?
Well, it's just a pre-check.
It's just just a pre-check. Almost like you're going back into your cell from yard or something. I don't know. But why do we have these folks doing that? No, it's like you're a damn prisoner, though, right? You've been in prison before, you know.
Yard. Which yard you going to? The Phoenix Airport?
Fenway? I don't know. Like, what are we talking about here?
That's not. I thought it was an airport. Well, we call it a yard here. Oh, Phoenix Yard. I'm going to the Phoenix Sky Yard. No. I'm supposed to have Liberty for another hour.
Oh, no Liberty allowed in airports? Oh, because you have to probe me anally. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, there's no Liberty here. But these 73 individuals all worked for major airlines, too. It wasn't like they worked for. It wasn't like they worked for Joe's.
Well, and it's not like they missed them getting on the planes. That's the scariest part. These people have unfettered access to these airplanes, these airports, the ability to come and go as they please.
Yep.
And you would think, and again, if the TSA's job is to scrub these people out, you would think they would have access. I said before, and I'll say it again, one of the biggest problems with 9/11, read the 9/11 Commission report and talk to anybody in intelligence that was around pre-9/11. Mm-hmm. Federal agencies were not talking to one another. Each one had their own information. They held onto it like a little piece of nugget, like literally like me with any amount of food, like just sitting in the corners growling at people who come close.
Right. Like there would be like a little golden nugget of information. Yours would be like a chicken nugget.
Right, it still is a chicken nugget. Right. Literally, right now, I have two in my hands.
No, I know.
But you know, we found out after the 9/11 attacks that the FBI had certain information on some things, Customs had certain information on some, and they weren't being shared. This is another example of important information not being. Whether you like the TSA or not, it doesn't matter in this specific situation. What matters is they were entrusted to do a job and then not given the equipment to do it with.
You know what this is? This is the FBI saying we all need to share information. Okay,
except for us.
You give me what you have, and you give me what you have, and you give me what you have, and we have information. But no, this is our information.
And like the little kid at the playground says, you have to share your swing, and then gets on the swing and never gives it back.
Right.
That little bastard.
That's the FBI.
Right. That happened to me 2 weeks ago, by the way. And
on a swing?
Yeah, it was horrible. But, you know, it's one of those things. These people, the access that they had, at the end of the day, I don't care who missed this. It's a federal government screw-up.
Look.
And these people could have put things on a plane. They could have allowed access to other people who wanted to put things on a plane. And they were on a terrorist watch list. It wasn't like they just didn't get checked and they got lucky. These people were actually named on certain watch lists. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew about it.
Look, well, they're doing hearings on it.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Remember what happened the last TSA hearing? There was a bomb threat called in.
Right.
I mean, just...
It wasn't us.
All I think of is...
Literally, it was not us.
No. All I can think of, though, is when I hear we're having hearings is the Senate in History of the World, when they're walking... Bullshit. That's all it is.
Yes. The report, here's what the report recommended to TSA. Request and review additional watch list data. Require that airports improve verification of applicants' right to work. Revoke credentials when the right to work expires, and improve the quality of vetting data. You can't do that if they don't have access to the stinking info.
It's like their job is to gas cars and you're not giving them gas.
Right.
Your job is to make sure every car on this lot has gasoline in it, son. Great, where's the gas? I can't give you that yet. You haven't qualified yet for the gas.
How am I supposed to fuel the vehicles?
I don't know. Figure it out. But listen,
that's your job.
I got to go. I got important things going on. There are things for me to calculate.
Right, I'm an FBI agent.
I'm an FBI agent. What movie? Anyone? Anyone?
Point Break.
Yes. Good job, Sackheads. And even the young guy jumped in. I did not think Sokka was going to get that.
Sokka has a man crush for Keanu Reeves. Which is...
It still is. It's a great movie in a horrible way. Gary Busey. Of course they are. Nothing.
You can't remake a movie like that.
There's no new ideas.
So I saw that and I was angry, to say the least. But now there's more whistleblowers came out this week that also said that there's a culture of, quote, fear and distrust in TSA, and also raised several security concerns with the program, including their pre-check. You know, pre-check where they check everybody really well, and if you pass all the tests, except for the watch list, because they apparently don't have access to a lot of that stuff. But you can go through pre-check, and when you get expedited screening. But according to some of these whistleblowers, they said they pass out these pre-check passes, quote, like Halloween candy.
Well, they are like Halloween candy.
They say trick or treat, and they give you a pass.
No, they just don't care anymore. That's the amazing part.
I care about Halloween candy. What? I don't understand your parallel.
Candy. No, the TSA doesn't care anymore. Listen, if I can pre-check from my... We both agree that the TSA shouldn't exist, yes. But they do, and they have rules. And they have a job, and their job is supposed to keep the planes from not going boom. And I'll put it in standards in words they can understand. When you could pre-check somebody who's not even at the airport yet, and I know they still have to go screw... I understand, but the reality of the situation is all that was done to appease certain people.
Well, hang on a second. So I'm on an expedite. Let's say I'm on a pre-screen. I'm on their fast pass or whatever the
fast pass. Right. Go to the. You have to get there 40 minutes early and get the fast pass.
Let's say I get the fast pass or whatever.
That's what they should call it.
So I get this thing. Now, I'm on this list where I can just go, right? So let's say I fly a couple times a week, whatever it is, and from month to month, I'm on this. I get this fast thing, this expedited whatever. Yet, if I want to buy a gun, like in California, I have to go through a waiting period every single time I buy a gun.
No matter what. That'll end in January, finally.
Right, when they don't sell guns anymore.
Well,
anymore,
right. I mean, there's just
technology.
There's just certain things
doesn't exist, so California is not going to be able to sell semi-automatic pistols soon.
But that's another 4 shows.
That's another show.
5 shows.
But so why is it on one hand, if I want to exercise my Second Amendment rights, I have to get screened literally every single time before I apply? Yet, if I want to fly on an airplane that could kill thousands of people,
no problemo.
No problem. Hey, you're pre-checked.
Front of the line, pal.
Here you go, buddy. Come on in. Hey, I tell you, we missed 73 guys on the terror list. How does this make sense to anybody?
Hey, pal, you want to know something funny? You look at the 70 people in line behind you, 67 of them are going to smuggle something by us. Have a safe... Yeah, not going to care. Not going to care because you know what? I'm going to be safely here on the ground with my white shirt just staring at people all day long.
67 of 70.
This is an atrocity. And
Homeland Security, Nebraska Senator Ben Sass. What a great name.
Don't you sass me, boy.
Or is it Sassy? Either way, it's pretty cool.
You sass me, son.
But what he said...
I would so say that if I had to testify against him.
He said DHS is treating this like a PR crisis instead of a Homeland Security
crisis. Right! Yes! That is the amazing part about this. They're trying to resell it to us versus fixing the damn problem.
Yes.
Oh, we'll just repackage it. You can polish a turd; it's still a turd.
Oh wait, it's a turd. Hang on, let's spray it with Febreze.
That is the TSA. It's just a turd sprayed with Febreze right now. And again, I know we talk about the people and the good people that work there, and there are some that I know probably try. But the problem is
what?
The standard to get hired through the TSA. I've known some people that work there. Some are extremely dialed, and amazingly, guess what happens?
They go somewhere else.
They get promoted almost immediately, and they're not where they're actually needed to be. They end up in some office pushing paperwork around because they're really good at their job. So they put somebody else in there, and I don't know
who's not so good at their job.
Who's not so good at their job? Yeah,
perhaps.
I can tell you there are times that I've gone through where afterwards I'm like, oh, really? You missed a whole pocket full of change? I didn't beep at the thing. You did the one. It never went off. You know, in 5, 6, 7 quarters, it's going to set it off on some level.
Obviously not.
Right? And it scares you, though. And these are the people who are responsible for the safety of the airline industry when it comes to a terror attack from the inside. They are the front line of the defense on a plane they'll never be flying on if it goes south.
Or, well, sometimes planes fly north and fly. I mean, they fly all different directions. I mean, even if an airplane flies south, I mean, it does not necessarily...
If this was a doctor...
It's not necessarily an indication...
If this was a doctor, would you...
we talked about this, right?
Would you even kind
I
of...
missed 67 of 70 diagnoses.
Yeah.
But I'm right four times.
I failed 67 bypass surgeries. But I'll tell you what, the 4 that lived loved me. They're going to have to get the work done again in a few years. But for these next couple of years, while their heart's only bleeding a little bit, they're pretty stoked about it. It's ridiculous. It is an absolute ridiculous point that we're at right now.
So what's the fix? You just take all the screening out?
Yeah. Well, at least then if something happens, we know why. Instead of now, if something happens, everyone's going to say the exact same thing in media and government. How did this happen? We can't believe this happened. They must have been extremely good at what they were doing. Right. No.
The TSA is just horrible.
Yes.
At what they do or pretend to do. We should give them all an Oscar. We should award an Oscar to TSA for Best Actor. Because they act like they know what they're doing.
Right. Best actor in a government role goes to, you have the president sitting there just like wringing his hands.
Best actor, period.
No.
Right, best actor. Best actor goes to TSA for acting like you're doing something.
And Leonardo DiCaprio is right next to him and goes, damn it again.
Again.
I lost again.
Again.
Ken says that Ahmed Mohammed worked at the TSA getting Cuban cigars for him, and now they fired him for being on the no-fly list. When did safety become more important than Cuban cigars? It's a decent question to ask.
That is a fair question.
Yeah, but the problem is...
Because if you're getting Cuban cigars for your boss, like, that's okay, right?
Yes.
Because who doesn't like a Cuban cigar?
Who doesn't? I love Cubans.
I wouldn't know. I've never smoked one because they're illegal.
Oh, no, I did in Canada. Because they were still... Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I did, too.
Oh, Canada.
Stop.
I love your
Stop.
cigars
Push
now.
your mute button.
This is like heaven.
I need... Okay.
You need my mute button and I need yours.
Mine, yes.
We may have to do that for a segment. We should have a mute-out segment.
A mute-out segment.
We pick out something that we'll argue about, and we each get to use our mute buttons for 1-minute periods 3 times during that segment.
But here's the problem. You and I would cheat and just
hold
the
just
mute
the whole time. We
wouldn't
even give us the opportunity.
Yeah, we'd cheat. It'd be all silent.
It would be like...
we'd be MFing each other right here on the other side.
You're talking to 2 guys that show up to play Monopoly with extra Monopoly money stashed in their sleeves. Is that a grand
Wait a
stuff?
second. When did you get Boardwalk in Park Place? I still have them here in the bank.
And that's weird. You also have them on your board. Well, yeah. Where'd you get 55 hotels, and why are they all on Boardwalk and Park Place?
Right. Wait a second. How'd you get 5,000 out of free parking? That I just landed on free parking. It should be empty.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe TSA is too busy playing board games instead of vetting their people. 10 get out of jail free cards. Ken, you need that.
Why?
Right?
Because of his race? That is not cool, Sean. We've had this discussion on this show.
I'm sorry. I just meant.
Why are you being racially insensitive now?
I just meant so he can win.
Because
Monopoly.
Ken's black. You think he needs more get out of jail free
Why,
cards?
Because I want him to win the game. He has bad luck with dice. I heard
because he can't win on his own. Because an African American is incapable of winning a board game of Monopoly because it has to do with money and counting.
That is what
and
you believe.
white-collared stuff.
No,
I'm
that's what
asking
you believe. No,
because
that's
I'm really
fine.
disappointed in this right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Ken, I apologize for my racially insensitive
affirmative action Monopoly.
Affirmative action Monopoly. You know what? We should design that and sell it on a website.
Oh yes, are you kidding me?
And was that Ken?
Yes.
And give Ken a percentage for that.
Hey, Ken, a big percentage for that.
A huge percentage because we need
that would be in every school. Every school
and
in the country.
in the rules, the amount of money you start with is dependent upon your ethnicity,
socialism,
or your race.
Socialism, affirmative action, Monopoly.
Right? If you're white, you start with $1 and the iron.
The iron.
Or the boot. The shoe.
Everyone else starts on free parking.
Right.
And they can select which space they can go to afterwards. They don't even have to roll anymore. They can just pick.
Right. And if
rolling's an option. Good job, Sacco.
If the white player gets too many properties, it gets redistributed
Ken
free.
Ken just put in one free redistribution card.
Did he?
Yes.
See?
Great minds.
Right there. Redistribution.
Dude, I love this plan. Affirmative action Monopoly.
This is great. Or call it Progresso, like Progressive Monopoly. Progressopoly.
Everyone gets free healthcare except for the person that actually has the money.
Right. You can almost merge the game of life.
Low-income hotels.
You can almost
single occupancy low-income hotels.
You could merge like the game of life and Monopoly. Right? So if you have a job, like you get paid more, and or you can opt to not have a job.
What?
And then collect money from all the other players.
More money.
Right, you get more money from all the other players.
Right, and if you have the job, you get taxed at 60%. But here's the thing, is anyone on the board can selectively choose to rob you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right.
You can write a complaint, but that's it.
Right, and there is no jail.
No.
It's a rehabilitation
Everything's
center.
rehabilitation center.
Yes, and when you get in the rehabilitation zone, you get additional funds.
Ooh, that was a 7. What'd you land on, buddy? The prostitution ring stamp. Okay, great. What do you get? It looks like a pass to the local clinic and $75. Perfect. You won the game. I'm just throwing out ideas. Spin the wheel and choose the penitentiary or Ivy League. Well, this one has legs.
This one does.
I really like this a lot. I think we need to examine this a little bit more. Patent pending, by the way, if anyone else. Patent pending on this.
Patent pending on this because today is
Progresso.
June 10th,
2015. It is 8:59 on the West Coast, 11:59 on the East Coast. This is the Sackheads Radio Show in collaboration with
Sackhead Clinton, collaboration with the exceptional one himself.
Yes. Oh, that's right. What?
Sacco had no part in this.
Sacco had no part in this. Sacco had a part, but he's only getting the 1% after we split 3 ways at 33% with Ken. I'm sorry, Ken. You would get 66%. Clinton and I would split 33, and then Sacco would get the 1. No, I'm sorry. It's the whole game is affirmative action Monopoly. I don't know how I missed that. I'm sorry.
When we come back,
your mama joke cards. Your mama's so fat she sat on the house. Go directly to jail. Oh, that's classic.
Instead of chance and community chess, it's grape, drink, and swishers.
Chance and community service. The chance could be like a robbery.
It's handout, and community service.
Right, because you don't know what the handout's going to be. You're taking a chance.
Handout and community service.
See, now I was going to say robbery and community service. Because you could rob somebody and get nothing.
Right.
You could rob somebody and get shot if they have a gun. Or you could rob somebody and get a couple $1,000s. So you're taking the chance.
Right. No, I like community service.
Community organizing chest. We can just have cards all over the place because everyone's going to get as many cards as they want anyhow.
Right, and if you draw 3 cards in a row, everybody else gets to draw 1.
Right.
Because that's not fair.
That's not... No railroad, everything's metro trains.
Metrolink.
The B&M Metrolink.
So it starts Metrolink, like on the first part of the board, where you have Oriental Avenue and, like, Baltic, right? Those properties. And then it goes to, like, light rail. So then you're on light rail on the other part, and then you're on like commuter train, like Amtrak,
yes.
Commuter train on the other part, and then the high end stuff, you're on like limo.
Yeah,
it's chauffeured vehicle.
You can get like community chest card that says you've been stopped by the police after you filed a complaint. You've been paid $10,000 for not being prosecuted.
I like that. Or better yet, if you're a minority and you buy one of the properties, like one of the Green or the Boardwalk or Park Place properties,
buy a church or a liquor store for your lot,
you get stopped by the police.
Ooh,
right?
Yes.
So during the game, if you are white and you own any of those properties, and a African American or a minority player comes on that strip, you can one time per game have them arrested and put in.
No, they go directly to jail. That's what the go to jail becomes.
Rehabilitation.
Right.
So once per turn, you can send them to rehabilitation.
Right. So if I have Park Place, let's say, and Ken comes rolling, even worse, even if Ken owns Park Place or Boardwalk, he loses a turn in jail while they investigate while he's there.
And there's no rent because they can just use your property.
Exactly.
They can squat.
Right,
you can get a squatter's rights card.
And if they injure themselves while they're on your property, lawsuit card.
Right. So, and that could be in the cards, right? So, you owe me $500 rent. No, a squatter's rights card. Here you go.
Oh man, I can't wait till this gets replayed against us.
We're 3 minutes past, and Sacco's staring at us like we're out of our minds. This is a brilliant game.
I love this. I love every second of this.
When we come back,
the NAACP card, you're allowed to abort your child and claim it don't look like you, so you don't get a DNA test card.
That was from Ken McClintock, from all of us, all of our listeners out there. That was not us at SHR.
It's horrible.
Can I get it through this? When we come back, Obama has no clue.
We need a whole segment for that.
On ISIS.
All that and more in the Sackheads Radio Show live in the SHR Media Network.
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying calf for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on The Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Who listens to the Andrea Kaye Show? Let's find out as we eavesdrop on listener Roger Johnson in Encinitas.
You know, if our policy is going to be bring any child who comes across the border with social coordination, we have to take them in.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me because I put him on the air, sleeping. Obviously, he's a liberal.
Snoring, not an option while listening to The Andrea Kaye Show, Tuesday mornings at 11 on Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
And we're back live at the SHR Media Studios. You're listening to the Sackheads Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us. While we're at the break, Ken had another great card. Your pastor saw you at the Tea Party rally. Go back 10 spaces, you Uncle Tom. I think that's a good card to have. I think that's an important one to have on Progressive Monopoly. I want your ideas. You can email Clint at shrmedia.com. He's going to be scrolling through all of them to check them out. So if you have some ideas for this new game and you want to help out, we'll give you credit. We'll put you in the little card that comes with it that nobody ever reads. We'll put your name in it. Why not, right? Why don't you say, let go of the mute button?
Oh, it's a button. I like to hit buttons. You know what I want to get? And I don't know how to do it. Sako, we need to work on this. I need like a panel from like an old fighter jet or something that we could find. And just buttons that I can sit here and randomly throw.
Just flip switches?
I just need to flip switches.
Too close to missiles, switching to guns.
Yeah, but it has to be like an aviation, like something cool, like a cockpit panel of some kind. It can't be something weird.
Well, you do
like
wear
that.
the helmet every single show.
No, I do. I know.
The flight helmet.
I know. And my Iceman shirt, because I do have a shirt with the helmet that has
it's
Iceman.
Iceman.
That's right. Ice.
I am dangerous.
I am dangerous. It's your block. Get to it.
So, the president was
has no clue.
Was pleasant enough to sum up what most of us already know.
That he has no clue.
He has no clue.
Right.
This time it's about ISIS. When he wasn't smoking cigarettes this weekend, the president has decided that he wanted to say
Hang on a second.
What?
Ernest says that the president does not smoke cigarettes.
Ooh, was it in Amsterdam? Where was the meeting? I think it was in Amsterdam.
Just an observation. Go ahead.
That's fine. You know what the best part about it is he denied that those were cigarettes, but never said what it actually was.
Right, those are not cigarettes.
Like, if you're the president, you show him that picture, you'd be like, oh, no, wait, that was a pack of gum. Here, look, I still have it in my pocket. It's a pack of gum. Okay, it's juicy fruit. Okay, great. Wouldn't even say what it was. Just, he doesn't smoke. Let's move on to the next question. You're going to lie about that, too. Anyhow, when he wasn't smoking this weekend, the president was saying, once again, didn't have a teleprompter when he was in front of the press, and he essentially told us what we already know. He has no real...
complete strategy, quote unquote.
Complete strategy on ISIS.
For training Iraqis to fight.
Which 8 months ago we had no strategy on ISIS.
Right.
The president, being the commander-in-chief that he is, and the buck stops there every single time, said the president, the Pentagon hadn't got him the strategy yet.
Right. When a finalized plan is presented to me by the Pentagon, then I'll share it with the American people. We don't yet have a complete strategy.
Mr. President, a couple things I want to discuss here with you, sir. If you wouldn't mind stepping into my office. Number one, it's the number one threat to the country right now, and it's not the environment. A majority of the American people feel unsafe with the rise of violence. Poll after poll after poll shows it that people deem it, and your own intelligence community deems it the most important threat to our nation right now. Back when you called it a JV squad, you still probably should have had a plan going. And then when they began to expand and to kill Americans in the region, you should have probably got a plan going. More recently, when they've taken over major parts of Iraq, that American lives were given and American blood was spilled in order to get, we probably should have had a strategy. You know what? This whole damn time, you should have had a strategy. But don't blame the Pentagon, and here is why. And in case you don't know this, sir, the Pentagon's whole job is to plan strategies. That's their entire operation of the Pentagon, be it training strategies, retention strategies, strategies for taking on the biggest threat to our nation, strategies on nuclear. That's all they do is strategies. It's a building full of people that do strategies. Don't tell me they haven't given you one yet. As a matter of fact, a senior official told a Fox News producer, what the F is he talking about? We've given him plenty. And we know we've given you plenty, and you've made choices to not enact them when we have our Air Force planes landing with the belly full of ordnance instead of striking ISIS positions. It's not rocket science. So when you say we don't have a complete strategy, it really is you don't have a complete strategy. You have a complete pack of smokes, but you don't have a complete strategy. Sir, let me give you a little bit of advice. Before you continue to make yourself look like a fool, your first order of business should be probably a phone call to the Pentagon that says, hey, you know one of those 45,000 contingency plans you guys have in a room somewhere tucked away that you work on literally all the time? Throw one at me. Quick.
But not literally, because the Secret Service would then jump on you and beat you up.
And some of the Secret Service can't be in the same room anyhow when we're talking about this because they haven't been appropriately vetted either. But that's neither here nor there.
And they may have a hooker.
They may have a hooker. But they didn't pass the scrubbing that they're supposed to be passing, even though they're in top secret places. But that's not important right now. You have the entire might and resources of the United States military. The strongest military on the face of the planet, with some of the brightest military strategists on the face of the planet.
Which Obama dismissed and kept his shills in there.
But you still have some people that may have a clue and or may know where that file is. Here's a little hint. Get the Al-Qaeda file out. Take a little gander on what that's been doing and how we've gone against that. But you need to get a strategy. You can't, as the American president, the leader of the free world, go in front of international press, talk about ISIS, the organization, nay, government, that's murdering thousands of people on a regular basis. They now are aligned with Boko Haram, one of the biggest terrorist organizations in Africa. They are expanding all over the world. They are a threat to America right now. You can't go in front of them and say, I don't have a complete strategy. You look like an asshole.
Did you see, what is it, U-571?
Yes.
Never go in front of the guys and say you don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You were the commander-in-chief
yes.
of the United States military. You never say, I don't know.
Ever.
What kind of message does that, I think you're right, what kind of message does that send to...
ISIS.
Yeah.
How about this? Yeah,
or
we
Israel.
have a strategy, but you know what?
Or Iran. Or Russia.
The entire world.
Or North Korea.
Everybody
or
involved.
South Korea. Or Great
Jordan,
Britain.
our allies in Jordan.
Or Mexico. See another border patrol got shot at again?
Yeah, did you see they had to put the helicopter down because it got shots at
They had to put the helicopter down, so they landed it. It was still in pain or whatever, so they like
just
shot
like
it
a horse.
Put it down.
Just like a horse. You never go in front of them and say, I would rather you go say, yeah, you know, we have a strategy, but we're not ready to release the details of it yet because it's a working operation. Yep. I can respect that. And I can understand that. And don't all of a sudden be transparent when you look like a giant D-bag.
You can say it.
Nah, I already said a-hole. But this is an absolute... you wonder why other countries look at us like we are worthless now, because we are. This president has had so many opportunities to be a leader, and he's chose not to. He'll talk about, we're not smoking. That'll get thrown around. Josh Earnest will be defiant about that. Damn it, he wasn't smoking. Move on to the next question. Hey, what about the whole strategy thing? Damn it, we don't have a strategy. Move on to the next question. It's frightening, and I can tell you as an American citizen, guess what? I don't friggin' feel safe.
Well, the good news is we're doing something about it now. We're sending 400 more troops over to help.
450.
I apologize. 451. No.
51.
To help train the Iraqi forces to fight ISIS. We don't have full strategy. You don't have a strategy? Quick, send more guys. How many are we going to send? 400. 450.
Quick, Joe, pick a number.
450. 451. I don't know. That's our strategy. What do you expect from an administration that tried to turn the Taliban 5, the 5
yes.
guys that we released for Berdahl?
I have an idea.
We tried to turn them into intelligence assets, and it was a complete and utter failure.
You mean the guys we had locked away in Guantanamo for 8 years didn't want to play games with us? Oh, by the way, their 1-year travel visa restriction has been lifted.
Oh, good.
They're free to move wherever the hell they want.
I thought they were going to lift it, and now they didn't. Did they lift it again?
I'm pretty sure it's been done lifted. But at the end of the day, this is just frightening to me, man. This is just absolutely scary. It's like an SNL skit every single time. This tells you what happens when this guy's not on a teleprompter. Because Valerie Jarrett, in her big clammy hands, slapped herself in the forehead when he said that. Ah, damn it, Barack. Why would you say that?
Well, hang on a second. I have breaking news.
Yes.
Do you remember our Take Back the Hate segments?
Yes.
I just got an email.
Yes.
Electronic communication from a listener out of Ohio.
Okay.
So they saw the America shirt, Kentucky.
America.
That's on that from the picture, I guess, that you posted. And they said my shirt was gay.
Oh, happy. It is a kind of a festive shirt.
Lighthearted and carefree.
Yes.
Shirt.
I would agree with that.
And I said it is a very gay shirt.
Yes.
I thanked.
You've worn a lot of shirts, and that's one of the more gay shirts I've seen you wear.
This is a very gay shirt.
It's festive,
I celebrate it.
Absolutely.
It's like those commercials, right?
You know what?
Say that skirt is gay or whatever. Don't be gay, right? That's.
You know what?
Right,
that shirt is so gay. I bet you if we had a parade, there would be an honor guard standing next to it.
No, absolutely. Look, I am the gayest person in the room right now.
Absolutely.
Like, hands down.
No doubt.
I'm so excited for the Take Back the Hate segment and that it was actually brought back. Very, very excited. So I had to interrupt with that breaking news. I apologize. Please continue.
We haven't taken any back in a while, so I'm glad that came up. I really am. Oh, man. So, at some point, we need a leader in this country who's going to step up and actually tell us, listen, I'd rather Joe come out, and I haven't been easy on Joe the last couple of weeks just because his son passed away.
Right.
But I'd rather Joe come out and be like, you know what, we're going to friggin' find him and kill him and walk away. Because
Joe would say that, though.
Okay, I'm okay with that. You know what? That's a strategy.
Yep.
And I have enough confidence, sadly, even if it's slightly misguided, in Joe to believe him. And it shows some sort of leadership. Take back Caitlin. It's a hate word now. I also want to remind everyone, while Bruce Jenner was getting a sex change, he still killed somebody in a car accident. In case everyone forgot about that, the guy still caused a car accident in which a woman died. So that's neither here nor there. But when you have the leader of the free world, when you have our sitting president come out and say we have no strategy for a threat that's been going on now for 2 years, actively for 2 years, when we're starting to see attacks in our country by this organization, and we don't have a strategy, it's embarrassing, and it's frightening, and it's going to cost American lives.
There was a Pentagon spokesman, Colonel Steve Warren, who actually also said that he was also waiting for a, quote, finalized plan from the Pentagon, and that Ash Carter, the defense secretary, had gotten together a group of, quote-unquote, experts to recommend and develop courses of
Well,
action.
who has the ARC now?
Right.
Top men.
For the Iraqi forces. And he didn't know when this finalized plan would be presented to the White House, but there's experts working on it.
We have top men. Which men? Top men. Indiana Jones. Reality is what it is. We should have had these experts kind of sailing around this one, just even jockeying it around at lunch, just having a little discussion about it.
Right.
Hey, did you hear about this ISIS thing? Yeah. We should probably kill them. Burritos? Anyone want burritos? Yeah, but at least it's something. So he's again blaming the Pentagon. Or he's putting it back onto them.
Right.
Oh, they haven't got around to it yet.
There was a comment that said, we're sending weapons as quickly as we can to Iraq. I don't think we can send any more weapons.
Well, that's good. I don't know if ISIS needs any more.
Why are we sending weapons? We don't like weapons.
Well,
we don't want our own citizens armed. Why would we arm them?
I see ISIS walking, and it looks like their hands are pretty full. Let's stop sending them weapons.
Right.
We're sending them to Iraq. Okay, so we're sending them
and it's not only
Iraq.
Not only their hands are full with the weapons, but the tanks they're putting in it, they're full
our trucks are full of weapons, too.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. We're not sending it directly to them. We're using a middleman. That middleman's Iraq. And don't get me wrong, I feel bad for the Iraqi military. I truly do. I think a majority of the folks that are in that military, just like our military, are doing it for the right reason. But they were not ready to take over the country. This president pulled us out. I mean, I can make a 17-year-old boy joke, but pulled us out too soon. I guess I did. And the country fell into the hands of ISIS. And how does he respond? Well, we're going to start pumping more equipment into the Iraqi military. I hate to say it, but every time the Iraqi military goes to battle, they just leave all the stuff there and hightail it the hell out of there. It's like you in an anti-smoking convention, Mr. President. You get the hell out as soon as you can. And now they're using these same weapons against us and against the Iraqis. 450. Is he just going to step increment like 450 once every couple weeks until he gets up to the, 18,000 he's going to need to get rid of ISIS? No boots on the ground except for, the original 1,400 we put in there. Their boots technically on the ground, but they're not in a combat role. Well, what are they doing? Well, they're advising. Okay. And we're going to send 400.
Can they shoot back?
Oh, well, no. Not really. We're going to send another 450. Is this part of your strategy? We don't have one yet. So I'm just going to keep sending people all over the damn place until someone gives me a strategy. Hell, I get Joe in Indonesia right now. We don't even know why he's there.
Does anybody even know where Indonesia is?
Right.
Somebody give me a map. Mr. President, you should know where Indonesia is.
God bless you. Moving on.
I don't know where Indonesia is, and why are we in there? I don't know.
I want to know where Indo-nephew is. That's what I want to know.
It's over there by Caucasia, I think.
Yeah, it's the magical country of Caucasia. Oh, this is just absolutely disgusting. We're screwed. We're so screwed.
It's not difficult. Declare war and kill them.
Yeah. You have a strategy!
There's a strategy. There's a complete strategy right there. Right? We don't want to kill any innocent people. Nobody wants to kill innocent people.
Here's a little hint. We wouldn't have to do it. We wouldn't have to be bombing. We wouldn't have to be doing massive attacks.
If we didn't screw it up.
If we didn't screw it up. But it's on us now. Even though it wasn't our decision as a collective nation, the president made the decision, and we and the Iraqi people are suffering. And Ken says the Iraqi military is as well trained as the Peace Corps in combat. Your Honor, I will ask that the witness point to Bruce Jenner. Your Honor, let it reflect that the witness erroneously pointed to Caitlyn Jenner. So therefore, let's strike it from the record.
I read something, and I forget which general it was, which military commander it was. I want to say it was during World War I when we were fighting Muslims, but there was a group of Muslims, and if I could find this story, I need to find it and put it out there, post the link to it. but they were fighting Muslims. And so what they did is they captured some and they sentenced them to be executed, and they dipped the bullets in pig's blood.
Yes.
Right, because they believe if they have touch any part of pork or whatever, they can't get into
heaven,
Muhammad land. Right, and so they shot them with bullets that had been dipped in pig's blood, and they let one or two or whatever live
to tell everyone else.
So they would go tell everyone else. And guess what?
It worked.
It worked.
It was weird, right?
They stopped fighting.
It's completely strange.
All you have to do is put out a press release.
You don't even have to do it.
No, do it. But put out a press release ahead of time saying all American bullets and bullets that are going to be shot at you from who are going to be all dipped in pig's blood or pork product of some kind.
You know how bad ISIS is? Al-Qaeda in Lebanon is officially at war with ISIS in the region.
And Muslim soldiers do not have to dip the bullets in pig's blood if that's their belief.
Yeah, they don't
have to touch that ammunition and do that. But the other soldiers can, and put that out to ISIS. And how many people do you think would still fight us?
It would eliminate quickly.
I think it would eliminate some.
Sacco, do you have a question? In the back, you with the hair.
You with all the hair.
Okay. No, but ISIS is so bad that Al-Qaeda in Lebanon has started to fight. General Pershing is what I'm being told by Ken in the chat room was the name of that president. And I don't know if it's...
President.
General, sorry. But when you have Al-Qaeda saying, you know what, these guys are kind of jerks and it's a little extreme.
These guys are crazy. Even for us, these guys are crazy.
It's a little scary. Oh, man. Well, I know we only have like 3 minutes, but we wanted to talk on 4th of July in Jakarta. I'm not wearing my glasses.
What is with you tonight? You get a mute button and all of a sudden you become Mr. Mutes-a-lot.
Mr. Mutes-a-lot. Murray Mutes-a-lot.
You're talking and I'm looking at you talking, but I'm not hearing anything in my head.
My name is Mr. Murray Mutes-a-lot.
I don't even know who Murray is.
From the mutation plant. What?
What?
Did I burn the subject?
Yes.
Oh, 9:30 to 9:40.
We're up against a break.
Let's come up with some more ideas for Monopoly.
Monopoly ideas.
Let's do a 2-hour show on this. We can have like a round table, open request line.
We need to, and then we need to design the game and have like a 30-minute segment on how to play it and kind of the history of how it came about, and then sell it.
Yeah, I'm telling you what.
I would buy it.
I know a lot of people that would buy that. I think it would. We would be labeled the biggest racists on the face of the planet.
No, it wouldn't, because we'd plaster Ken's face all over the box as the creator.
The exceptional monopolizer himself.
Right. It'd be like Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop when he gives the big OK sign. Remember when he's holding the shotgun or whatever and he gives the OK and the big grin? Like we could do that face of Ken on the back of the Monopoly box, the back of the Progressive-opoly box.
Oh, see, and look at what you start. So when Ken posted about General Pershing, I said...
When I started.
I said, he posted whether or not it was a myth or not, and I wasn't able to read through. So I said, I don't know if it is actually true that it happened, because the title of what he posted says the Muslim pig burial myth of General Pershing. So when I phrased it as, I don't know essentially if this is confirming or debunking it for some reason. Ken automatically says, wait a minute, Sean, you doubt me because a black man found it? That's racist. You see what you started tonight?
I didn't start this. Listen, don't be a liberal. This is not anybody else's fault but yours. Take responsibility for yourself and for your bad views of humanity and for your racist self. Own it, apologize, realize that Ken is our brother, but not in the way you say it, but like actual brother under God, and just own it already.
Not the way you say it. You're such a jerk.
I'm not the racist in this room.
No, it's
the Armenian hairy guy over there.
Poor Sacco, he pushes all of this. Folks, he doesn't have a microphone, so you can't hear some of the horrible things he said. When we come back, apparently something's going on in Jakarta. The EPA's or not, we don't know.
We don't know.
The EPA's at it again, and we're going to wrap up the show right here on the SHR Media Network. You're listening to the Sackheads Radio Show.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half of the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on The Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Who listens to the Andrea Kaye Show? Let's find out as we eavesdrop on listener Roger Johnson in Encinitas.
You know, if our policy is going to be bring any child who comes across the border and says coordination, we have to take them in.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me because I put him on the air, sleeping. Obviously, he's a liberal.
Snoring, not an option while listening to the Andrea Kaye Show, Tuesday mornings at 11 on Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
So then I said, I treat people the way I want to be treated, by not talking to them. It's very simple, really. Sacco, let me know when we're back on. I mean, right, don't you think?
So Ken says, we're the Sackheads Radio Show. That's Clint, I'm Sean. Sacco's in the cage. We're back for the last 30 minutes of the show. When we're at break, Ken says, wait a minute, Sean, you doubt Jakarta? Because a black man had nothing to do with it. How does this happen every single week? How am I painted into the monster? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah, Sean. Yeah. Point the finger. Redirect.
How am I the
right?
giant specter in the room?
No, redirect. Right? Redirect. Deny and redirect. Right? No, I don't smoke.
No.
Yeah, good one. So the United States Embassy in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Where Joe is.
Where Joe is. It's celebrates Independence Day a month early.
Wow.
So that was nice, right? They celebrated it early because why not?
No, there's a reason.
They did it to accommodate the country's Muslim population.
Yes.
You see, as it turns out, Ramadan interferes with the 4th of July. So because Ramadan interfered with the 4th of July, the embassy moved the 4th of July celebration a month early to the 4th of June. even though the embassy is United States soil, for all intents and purposes, it's our soil, it's our country, and we're going to celebrate it early because we don't want to interfere with Ramadan, which is happening in Indonesia. Outside of the walls of the embassy.
When are we just going to put up on the Statue of Liberty a giant sign that says, "Sorry, we suck"? We're not that far from it now, right?
Well, Ambassador Robert Blake told the group, he says, quote, "We're celebrating a month early to respect the holy month of Ramadan." So, since when do we move the birth date of our nation out of respect for a segment of the population?
Now,
it's like celebrating your birthday a month early or a month late because it interferes with The Bachelorette, I don't know, on TV or something.
Funny you should mention that. My birthday's coming up in a few days, and I think The Bachelorette's on, so I want to move it a couple months ahead.
Right. How ridiculous is this? This is the birth of our country, and we're moving it for Ramadan on American soil because they celebrate it. It's not like we're going to have a 4th of July celebration on the streets of Jakarta. Then maybe we might want to have our parade a month early.
You know what I love is when the ice cream Jakarta comes down the street?
No, it's the burrito Jakarta.
Oh, there's a burrito.
I love the burrito Jakarta.
It's got the little bells.
Yeah.
Ding,
yeah, the guy's riding it.
He's cool, dude.
It has the hand-rolled tamales. They're awesome.
Beer in the back.
This to me is very, very disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's sad that you have an official United States embassy, American soil. You have a United States ambassador moving the birth of our nation's celebration early for this event. Now, look, I understand if there are Muslim employees at the embassy and it's a holy month and they don't want to celebrate the birth of the nation, whatever. You deal with that internally. But you don't move the entire celebration at an American embassy for this. That is just...
When your job is the government...
Ridiculous.
Your number one job should be to celebrate our nation.
The State Department says that at the press briefing on the 9th, they said these are not events for the American citizen population that's resident there. It's not like a picnic you have with your family and friends when you're back here in the U.S. These are official events that are the purpose of which is to represent the United States to the host nation and to the host government. That's U.S. soil, jackass.
We have to apologize for everything that makes us great, including our birthday.
I'm pretty sure their laws don't apply within that embassy, right? Bless you. Bless you.
Goodness gracious me. And even if they do, the simple fact of the matter is it is our nation's birthday. You were there for the embassy. You know what? If you can't celebrate on that day, leave the country for the day and go to another country and celebrate it. I'd rather you do that.
Right.
Because you're still celebrating it appropriately, as opposed to kowtowing to a host nation.
Right.
Well, it's all about diplomacy and democracy, and we have to respect. Well, people have to respect us then. The respect is a two-way street. I love when they talk about respect to other countries, but we demand none from anybody.
Well, hang on. Ramadan, isn't that when Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset? What about nighttime?
Perfect time. Or during the day, they can have cake. Right. They're not fasting during the day.
No, they fast from sunrise to sunset.
Okay, cake at night.
Cake at night. Or they don't eat cake. We'll put it in the fridge for you.
Right, there are plenty of people that freeze cake at their weddings and eat it 15 years later. We'll figure it out.
Eat it after sunset.
We'll figure it out. We'll have you over for a nice pancake breakfast and bacon. It's cool. But let's not bow down to... we're not, and it's not like we're doing it to be offensive. It's not like we planned the freedom of our nation to spite the people of Jakarta during their celebration of Ramadan. That is just when it is. And why can't that be respected? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with our own embassy saying this is a day that is complete? As holy as that day is to you, this is to us because this is...
It gets better. It gets better. So Todd Starnes, he's host of Fox News and Commentary. He wrote an article on FoxNews.com, which I read on this, and it's awesome. But he actually said that during the event, they actually celebrated green energy.
What?
They had biodegradable balloons, low-carbon, sustainable food.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What does that mean, that you don't pass gas after it?
I don't know. So they even managed to turn a 4th of July celebration on the 4th of June to celebrate green energy.
Well, it is the biggest threat to our country.
Oh.
So to them, that's like celebrating the soldiers.
So before, we would celebrate the freedom from the British, and now we're celebrating freedom from big oil.
Yes. And the food and all those other things that give their lives, maybe they were vegans. So they saved lives of the people that were fighting against pollution and global warming by not eating animals.
Right, because our founding fathers fought a war because the British were evil environmental big meanies because they were about big business and the East India Trading Company.
I see where you're going with this.
I
see where you're going with this.
Right?
Makes perfectly good sense.
And so we threw tea in the harbor, which was okay because it's biodegradable, it's tea, it's herbal.
Right.
It's practically like marijuana. And
all it did was make salty.
All it did make salty, which was fine. Yeah. Okay, never mind. I had this wrong. I apologize. I had this segment wrong.
Can we move on, please?
Yeah, your segment. The EPA. Your favorite federal agency.
So, real quick, I want to... two things. The EPA...
Is a joke.
Is a joke. And now they want to regulate...
Hang on. I have a quiz question for you.
Yeah.
A poll question, as it were. Biggest douchebags, EPA or FBI?
EPA.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that answer.
Me too, but you know what? When you try to move...
Me too.
I was very surprised it came out.
I know.
But when you're trying to move state lines around rivers...
Right.
To meet your need,
right.
When you're taxing water...
Right.
And rain...
Right.
When
you have cops...
When you're destroying small business...
Did you know they have cops?
Yeah. EPA police.
What?
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Right.
It makes me want to go out and break a fluorescent light bulb.
Who does that?
I don't know.
Not breaks light bulbs, but who does that?
Who says I want that to be my job?
Right.
Like, you have to really have some issues going on upstairs. If you're like, I want to be an EPA cop.
Right.
I want to go chase around people with oil dripping out of their cars.
But not even that. Like, I want to go look for light bulbs that you threw away.
The light bulbs. And then I'm going to give you such a pinch when I find it.
Right.
We're going to have helicopters and SWAT teams. It's going to be crazy all because you broke a light bulb.
It's going to be awesome. And we're going to high five after we're going to slap each other on the ass with hot.
Yeah.
But would you have respect for them if they moved professions? Did something else, perhaps?
I don't know.
All right.
It's a tough call.
See, I would.
It's a tough call.
I think I would.
Oh, maybe you're a better person than I.
I don't. Well, I am. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, you might be sucking
Unless
up to somebody. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's just weird for you to change like that all of a sudden. That's not like you.
Right.
It's not like you. Normally you stick you to your guns. Because I'll tell you what, all the things you've said about them in the past.
But EPA investigators?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm shocked that you could 180 on any of them.
No, I don't know that I could.
Either way. So now the EPA... You remember the fine folks that we have lousy steel in this country because they've essentially destroyed the steel industry single-handedly.
Yeah, good job. And the auto industry.
And the auto industry.
And the energy industry.
And coal industry soon. So now it's all costing us a ton of money. All in the name of saving the environment. Yeah, they're going to cost us more to fly. And a whole bunch of other things. And this is just really the tip of the non-melting iceberg.
Yeah.
The EPA wants to regulate airline emissions, airplanes, Here's a little hint. When you get on an airplane, it burns this thing called jet fuel. It makes the big woo things work for the people who may not understand that. And those woo things, if you're lucky enough that the TSA didn't screw up, those woo things get you to thousands of miles away really fast.
Right.
They may cause a little bit of emission. Now, amazingly...
And they're relatively safe.
They're extremely relatively safe. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
However, they're also pretty dang efficient already. You don't see a lot of exhaust. And if you ever just burn jet fuel, God forbid, I hate to say it, but when you see a plane crash with jet fuel involved, a lot of that black smoke is from the jet fuel itself. It burns when it's not combust, and when it doesn't combust properly, it burns really black and nasty. Most jet plane engines burn it so efficiently that there is extremely minimal exhaust that comes up.
You know how a jet engine works, by the way? Suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I know, it is. It sounds dirty. Socko, quit giggling to yourself like a schoolgirl. It's not. It's how an engine works. It's science, okay? It wasn't meant to be dirty.
His face turned red.
Seriously, he's giggling. His little shoulders are bouncing up and down. His hair is moving all over the place.
Your
chest looks like Jack Sparrow's beard. I don't even know how you put those braids in there like that.
I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. So,
yeah, they issued a preliminary finding of endangerment.
This is the most ridiculous. Only the EPA can have such a BS name to something.
Emissions are harmful to human health and contribute to climate change.
Hey, every building you walk in the state of California is going to give you cancer. There's a sign on the door.
Every single one of them.
Every single one.
Don't go inside of a building.
Nope, it's going to give you cancer.
You're going to die.
Prop 65.
Yeah.
And now they want to do that with airlines. First of all, folks, if you don't realize that if anyone out there for a second needed the EPA to tell them that the airplane engines burn a fuel, and that fuel may smell a little stinky from time to time. If you need a federal agency to tell you that, you're seriously effed up. More importantly, once again, what can't the federal government get their hands into? And somebody asked me a great question the other day. Tell me something that the government doesn't tax or touch when we talk about freedoms in this country and everything. And the EPA is the worst at this. They get their greedy little green fluorescent light bulb investigating hands.
We have...
on everything.
We fought a war over this.
Yes. Yes.
So what's funny
for
is
2 years
there's been a push by the International Civil Aviation Organization. They're part of the United Nations. I'm sure it's fine. And they've been having a push to develop global aircraft emission standards.
Oh, well, why shouldn't we go global?
Right.
Why shouldn't this be handled on a global level?
That final report is expected in February of 2016.
Oh, really? What a weird time that is.
Weird, huh? And how EPA would come out with
That's weird, because who's going to be there in 2016? Well, they're hoping it will be. Oh, right, there's an election that's going to go on in November 2016.
Weird, but hey, if we lay the groundwork now.
If we lay the groundwork right now, just like we did with the police and just like we're doing with the gay rights agenda in this country, let's start laying this. Gotcha. Political move. Benghazi was just a video. Just a video.
Just a video.
ISIS is a JV team. Let's just keep going. We just keep going. This is BS again. First of all, the EPA is the unchecked pit bull of the federal government. They create rules and laws that are not approved by Congress that affect every aspect of business throughout this country.
And your life. Are they the pit bull or are they like the little yappy dog? Right? Hey, Spike.
No, they're the pit bull because they will destroy a business without thinking twice about it with some BS rules. Look at the steel industry, the most powerful.
What about the couple that built the pond?
Oh, yeah.
On their farm.
Yeah, but you look at, all joking aside, look at what they single-handedly did to
U.S.
steel. The steel was one of the biggest industries in this country.
Yes.
And the best steel in the world. Countries were paying hand over fist for American steel. You couldn't touch it with a 10-foot Japanese recycled steel pole.
Bamboo.
Whatever. And the EPA put them out of business, mostly. Here's a little hint. If you ever watched the movie Atlas Shrugged, in their targeting of the steel industry, this is no different except instead of like with the whole Everybody Wins campaign that they went with it as, they just used the EPA to do it. And they put them out of business, destroyed families, all in the name of safer and blah, 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 blah. What about the people? What about the steel? What about the fact that the steel out there now is not even half as good as it used to be? You look at any major construction project in this country right now, and a majority of the steel comes in overseas because of the EPA.
And what's funny is you already have aircraft companies such as Boeing that are designing aircraft like the 787 to be more fuel efficient. They already have aircraft that they're trying to develop, and General Electric, who does a lot of the engines, are working to make more fuel-efficient aircraft, and also to find something that is able to work with a biofuel or whatnot, because they don't want it to be as reliant on oil because of the fluctuations in the oil market. So they're already looking for these things on their own.
Well, yeah.
So why is, and I know the answer to this.
Because they can, and they want their greedy little mitts on it.
I know the answer to it.
I broke a light bulb.
You know what?
I see dead light bulbs.
Why don't we regulate the rocket industry?
Why don't
rocket fuel?
Why don't we regulate the EPA? That's my proposal.
Why don't we eradicate the EPA?
Yeah.
Why don't we defund them and just do away with it?
And listen, I understand, and when everyone brings out, when you talk against the EPA, the first thing everyone says, you don't care about the environment. Well, no, I do.
No, I do. I don't throw my trash in the street,
right?
Like a lot of people do,
right?
I don't, right? I recycle my cans and bottles.
Yeah,
for the most part. Sometimes I throw them in the trash just to be a jerk.
I don't take the oil out of my car or my truck and just pour it into the drain because I know that drains to the fish.
Right. I don't throw.
I want to be able to fish.
I don't throw paint away into the site. Right.
There's certain things you don't do. But I don't need an agency, another federal government agency, who literally, this is the same people that wanted to monitor hotel showers.
Right.
You, naked, in the hotel shower. Usually when you're in a hotel, you're on vacation, you want to enjoy yourself.
Cow farts.
EPA's in there with you.
Cow farts.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they monitor the amount of feed that the cows are given and how much methane that produces. And they have limits on it.
So how long until they limit food consumption?
Oh.
And you can only eat Taco Bell once a month.
Don't eat Taco Bell. They promote a rape culture.
Huh?
You haven't read Pundit Press? On Pundit Press, there's these...
I was using that as a for example.
Oh, I thought we were breaking subject. Go.
No. Right, don't eat this food because it produces more gaseous emissions from humans. So therefore, you're only allowed to eat this food this many times a week.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like a ridiculous stretch.
But it's not.
But it's
not when you're talking about a federal agency that wants to come into your hotel shower and hang out with you.
I mean, I would like to come into your hotel shower and hang out with you. That's not weird to me.
And you can email Clint at shrmedia.com. He's starting to set up his fall schedule for hanging out in the shower.
Right.
He is booked solid through summer.
Solid.
Don't even try it.
No, solid through summer.
Don't even try it. But
Sacco has the entire block.
Yeah, and that's weird.
Matter of fact, Sean's with me because I think we're going to groom him for Vegas.
Right. No, we are. I'm telling you, I think we should get him that lion cut. Leave the mane on him and just shave everything else from like the chest back.
Yeah.
I think that'll look good on him.
Completely.
We are happy.
Took back the hate. Yeah,
good job, Sacco. We love you for that.
We're laughing. Thank you, Sacco.
Listen, flying's already a problem. It's already super expensive. We already know it's unsafe.
Flying's not a problem. We know it works.
But we know it's already super expensive. A lot of it's the amount of taxes that you have to pay before you even get on the plane, and the amount of taxes they have to pay just to fly. The amount of government regulation and everything else that they have to pay, and now there's going to be something else on top of it all. We need to have an emission standard. We need to have an a-hole standard. I think that's the biggest standard.
We've exceeded that. We have exceeded
and
the
I think
a-hole
the
standard.
EPA
Not
needs,
we on this show,
but the
federal government and the EPA has.
If they're going to do that, can the first thing they look at is the federal government's use of jet planes for free?
Yeah.
Like when the president wants to have like an environmental meeting with one of the quote-unquote head environmentalists in the world, and he flies them in from overseas for a 6-hour meeting and flies them out again, maybe we should start there. By the way, it's called Skype, Mr. President. You can give it a shot.
You know, I want to get to this before we break, but did you see Bill Clinton? I know we want to switch subjects here, but you see Bill Clinton contradicted Hillary's statement about the email messages.
Yes.
Because she says, oh, it was about half of them, right? Me and Bill, husband and wife stuff, so in love.
I would love to see those emails.
Yeah. Well,
you scumbag!
Bill said that the only time he got on the internet was to do, quote, 2 emails and to order Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, because that's the only time that Hillary's ever emailed him is twice.
Right.
That's their love.
He said, otherwise I found people said embarrassing things on emails. I don't want to be one of them.
At least he's smart.
Right.
At least he's smart, unlike Hillary, who said a ton of embarrassing crap on emails and then tried to hide it.
Right. So who's lying?
I'm going to guess Hillary is.
Right.
Because you know what? Bill has nothing to lose at this point.
No.
And that's an off-teleprompter comment. He wants back in that White House, man. He wants those interns
back in March,
so
he told
bad.
the Wall Street Journal that he only sent 2 emails in his life, one to U.S. troops and the other one to astronaut John Glenn.
I do not believe that to save my life. You can't tell me that Bill Clinton isn't on Tinder. Or some other, not Grindr, or maybe he's on Grindr. I'm not judging him for it. But you can't tell me he's not, like, hanging out in chat rooms.
I don't even know what those things are that you said.
Big Bubba B.
I don't know what sorcery.
What was he, number 40?
To.
What was he, number 42? Big Bubba 42. POTUS 42.
42.
I'm on Tinder. You can check me out. It's called
What's Tinder?
Big Bubba 42. You don't know what Tinder is?
I don't.
Oh, my goodness. I learned from Conan O'Brien what Tinder is, and it's a dating app, and it might be one of the funniest things on the face of the planet.
Do you do it?
No.
What is it?
It's a dating app for your phone.
Why would my phone date?
Well, because it needs to get out more.
Okay.
However, in a feat of genius, Google Conan O'Brien Tinder.
Okay.
And you will not regret this.
Because I don't use Google.
Whatever. You will absolutely not regret this. It might be one of the funniest skits I've ever seen in my life. Folks, that is it for the Sackheads Radio Show for this week. Thank you so much for joining all of us. I'd like to thank Sacco for all the hard work he tried to do tonight but didn't. I'd like to thank Clint for all the hard work he did tonight by throwing me under the bus as a racist.
You do that all on your own.
And I'd like to thank you.
I was on the curb trying to grab you by the back of your shirt.
For trying to keep this train wreck of a show together for 2 hours.
As you try to throw yourself
It's
under the
not
bus.
easy work, but somebody's got to
Either
do
that
it.
or
I am the glue. I am the glue that holds this show. Just kidding.
The scrap
I
horse
screwed
meat.
it.
What are you talking about here? Sean's the scrap horse meat.
I'm like the 3-year-old
Sacco's the
gluing a
dog
project
food.
together. We're like the head where the arm
I'm
is
the
supposed to be.
hoof.
I'm the hoof. There's a big boiling pot. It's awesome. So great. We'll be back next Wednesday at 11 Pacific, 8 on the East Coast. Check me out tomorrow morning, The Edge of Liberty, 1360 AM WNJC in Philadelphia. If you missed the beginning of the show, check it out, Spreaker.com/SackheadsRadio. We will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Sacco, break me off something
The
awesome.
best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio. The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.